Hello, everyone. Hopefully we have some attendees here. We hopefully will be getting some, if you have joined us today, maybe you can click on your chat button and send us a shout out. This is our first in our series of Thin Thursdays. And so we'll be making adjustments as we go along. But just first of all, I want to say welcome. And we're honored to have you invest some time and allow us to be part of your journey as we build something great together. A couple of housekeeping items. You should have accessed us via our website, and if you did, there should be a screen just to the right of the where you're watching us, and you'll be able to communicate with us by asking questions and typing in that chat screen area directly to the right of the Ustream box. So like I said, if you've just joined us, maybe you can go ahead and add some comments there for us, and we'll be glad to, as we get to the end of this, answer any questions that you might have. So another thing is that through some strategic alliances, we have some really exciting products that we'll be introducing over the next 90 to 120 days that will help support your organization. And we'll make it a lot easier for us to help you as well as we endeavor to help you grow your business. We'll talk more about one of those products at the end of today's call. So the first thing we want to do is just kind of start talking about what you can expect from this forum and from us. So just giving that a little bit of airtime. We are going to be talking about how you can improve your productivity, which will hopefully translate into more compensation for you. What kind of compensation? After 10 years of professional consulting and 20 plus years in executive management prior to that, I've consulted with hundreds of people, employers, entrepreneurs, employees at all levels of all organizations, and there's always two things that people ask me to help them with. And those are that they want more time or more money. And without digressing too much on our first call of this series, I would like you to think about something that I learned about 3 to 5 years ago. And that was that tools and time are both man-made constructs. And that as we honor our callings and our purpose in life, that the time and money challenge seem to resolve as we sow into loving what we do. And so I would like to put out for your consideration that we're all compensated in a variety of ways. But as we sow into what we're passionate about and we begin to write our story, understand that story, and then are true to it, that our days will be directed differently and potentially even more purposefully. And then we are on our way to getting out of the thick of thin things. So the thin things, what does that mean? It can vary. As we go through this series, my goal is to help you identify those thin things. In all of our lives, we all have different things that distract us, call for our attention, different things that potentially get in the way of us optimizing our performance, optimizing time with our family, things that we're passionate about, the things that we love. So that's going to be the purpose of this first series, is talking about that. So here we go. So the first thing we're going to talk about today is clearing space. That we want to figure out a way to clear space. We're also going to be talking about acceptance, engagement, investing, and your story. So basically 5 things we're going to touch on today. So the first one, clearing your space. What do I mean by that? Well, it can mean a lot of different things, but the kind of 2 areas I want to focus on today is that you schedule time for yourself. As busy entrepreneurs or people who started our own businesses, generally, you know, we started doing something because we thought, oh, that's a good idea, or it's something that I'm really passionate about, or maybe we kind of fell into it. But somewhere along the line, if we're still in business, especially for anyone who's been in business more than 5 years, you kind of came to understand that there was a reason that you ended up where you did. But what very often happens as time goes forward and we move along, we can become easily distracted. And we can have others quickly begin to occupy a lot of time and space. Employees, vendors, salespeople, sometimes even our clients can take up time. And I would just like to propose that one of the first things that you do is clear space. And it can be something as simple as clearing your physical space. Now, if you saw my desk right now, you would wonder what went off all over it. However, when I try to get into my creative space, my creative mind, I clear my desk, I clear my space. Sometimes I have to get away from my desk into a different place where I take time to allow my creative, non-tasked mind to step into play. And this is where usually I get new ideas, or a problem that I've been struggling with for a while kind of becomes more apparent to me how I might be able to solve that. When I was in corporate management for about 17 and a half years, one of my mentors required later in my career that I always have one-on-one times with my direct reports. And so every week I would meet with those direct reports for 45 minutes to an hour, and we talked about whatever they needed to talk about to make their desk more productive, or their department, or whatever they needed. And it worked out really well because this was time that they knew they could count on having one-on-one time with me. Because as a busy executive, very often you're running a lot of different directions. And if you have very many direct reports, sometimes things can get a little fragmented. So I would have one-on-one time with them. And what I quickly realized was that I wasn't allowing any one-on-one time with myself. And so I began to set aside about 30 to 45 minutes a week where I would clear my desk, shut my door, take an extra long lunch, whatever I needed to do to figure out what I needed to do to be more productive. So clear space, whether you do that through geography, whether you do it just by staying in the same place, but maybe changing your physical body position, whatever you do. If you will do that, you will find that whatever barrier you're facing, whatever obstacle you're facing, whether it's money, time, personalities, geography, that this will create an opportunity for you to think about how you might more creatively problem solve. And when you get into that place, then you're able to have what I call is the what if discussion. And the what if discussion, or the what if conversation, is if there were no money, time, personalities, geography, whatever barrier it is, what then? So I would challenge you over the next week to take at least 30 minutes to clear space and have the conversation with yourself. What if, what then? The next thing, number two, so we talk about is acceptance. And I think this one is really, really important. As I've been attending some additional training myself over the last few weeks, this has become really relevant in my own life and in my own business, that it's accepting where we are allows us to move past our past and recognize where we are so we can move forward. Sometimes when we don't come into a place of acceptance, we spend a lot of time regretting the past, worrying about if I had only, then, all the could've, should've, would've discussions. And then what happens is our minds become so full of that we don't allow space for creativity to step in so that we can move past. So I kind of metaphorically think about it like this. Remember when you moved into the home you currently live in, you made a decision that the place where you were living was no longer meeting your needs, whatever it was. Maybe you had to downsize, maybe you upsized, whatever it was, but you decided to move from that old place into your new place. What would happen if at the end of every day you decided to go back to that old place? You wouldn't do that. It would be a silly thing, right? But very often in our minds, in our businesses, we spend a lot of time sometimes at our old house. We don't live there anymore. Doesn't mean that we don't sometimes clean up mistakes from the past, but we just don't live on that street anymore. So we come to a place of acceptance that that was then, this is now, so we can move forward. Then the next thing is that we get fully engaged and we find whatever it is that we need to strike a spark within us to get fully engaged in where we are with our lives and with our businesses right here, right now. I attended a meeting a couple weeks ago, and one of the people that was sharing in the meeting said this quote, "Life is in session." And I needed to be, and he said, and I realized I needed to be engaged in life. So I thought, I really like that. And I added my own little twist to it. When you go into a court of law and they say court is in session, all rise. So the judge can come in, and it's kind of like the starting point of knowing that you're moving into a very important meeting. I would say, life is in session, now all arise. And we're going to honor our humanity, including the fact that we do not do everything perfectly. We find flow when we stop resisting our past, looking at our past mistakes, even that which is stumping us right now. And we recognize and honor the fact that we are where we are, and we're going to get back into the flow of things, and we're going to stand back up. Even if we're feeling confused about, well, what do I do next? Rather than sitting in that kind of stuck position, we're going to stand up, and we're going to take what seems to be the next indicated step. And it may not be the right step, and that's okay. But we're going to keep moving forward. We're going to keep engaging, and we're going to trust that the people that we've surrounded ourselves with, the universe, our God concept, whatever it is going to help us, and we're going to continue to move forward. And I think it's really important because if you're an entrepreneur, you have to be a pretty courageous person, because it takes a lot of courage to be able to not rely on someone else writing your paycheck. It takes a lot of courage to know that you have the responsibility of people that have provided services to you, and you have to pay them. And so just take a moment to honor your courage. And you've already demonstrated that in the past, so just keep stepping into it. So life is in session, rise up and keep rising up. The fourth thing I want to talk about today is investing time in only those things that provide compensation. Now, in the corporate world, I worked for a CEO who always preached that we needed to all be profit centers. That whether we were a secretary, whether we were in the sales department, whether we were in the development department, that whatever actions we took needed to, at the end of the day, bring more profitability into the company. Excuse me. In other words, I grew up understanding from my leader that every task I engaged in needed to be a profit center for the company. And it needed to, at the end of the day, provide some type of compensation. Now, I'm not saying that everything's about money. Sometimes we do things and we invest in things because they provide emotional support, or they meet a personal goal that's non-monetary. They meet a goal of spending time with family, whatever that is. So, but I think very often too, we can make investments in things that really don't provide compensation, either from a monetary, emotional perspective. And so just maybe become aware, and kind of the barometer I use is if someone asks me to do something and it's something they should do for themselves and can do for themselves, whether it's in the workplace or outside of the workplace, if I don't immediately have I'm ready to jump in there right now and I feel like I need to pause, then I pause. That we don't have to make decisions immediately. In fact, one of the one of my very dear friends who runs a recruiting agency, one of the things I admire the most about her is that she never makes decisions immediately. She always takes time to weigh them out, measure them out, and I think it's been one of the keystones to her success is that, you know, maybe she has missed out on an opportunity here or there, but by and large, because she's taken time to pause and that she doesn't invest in things that don't provide compensation, she's been very well rewarded for that. So, and then finally, number 5 is that you take time to write your story, measure it, evaluate it, reset it. And then maybe you rewrite it, measure it again, evaluate it, and reset it. When I was growing up, we used to call this journaling or writing in our diary. Why is it important? Why write it down? Because we so often forget. We really, as human beings and our human behavior, we are so easily distracted, and we so easily forget why we do what we do, why we continue to show up in the ways that we show up, or don't. So I would just encourage you to write down why you do what you do, either professionally, personally. What is your story? I'm not talking about going back and writing a complete autobiography, but maybe writing an autobiography about how you ended up in the business that you ended up. What do you love about it? What don't you love about it? What things are energizing to you? What things are hard for you? Write that down and then refer to it often. What can happen is writing your story can become the genesis for writing that dreaded business plan that the bank's going to require from you when you need to take out a line of credit or a business loan. But more importantly, it helps you keep a good remembrance of why you got in the business that you got in the first place. And it also, listen, not all of us ended up in businesses that we want to do until we retire. But if we understand how we ended up where we are now, as we decide to maybe move into a different type of business, we can make better decisions than we did the last time. So just something to think about. Once you've written down your story and kind of written a roadmap for yourself, find others who are expert and are like-minded, and then study them and collaborate with them if possible. I have about 3 different professionals that I consult with on a monthly basis that have different areas of expertise than I have, so that they become kind of my checkpoints and my watchmen, so that I'm not just spinning in my own head sometimes, that they can help honor me when I'm too hard on myself, or they can help push me when I need to be pushed, or they can give me encouragement when I need to feel energized. Study those people, collaborate with them, use tools that are available from them, use some of the tools that are available that we provide, even on our website. And then over time, you will fine-tune and your vision will become more clear. It will help you make good decisions too about how you should spend your time. Should I take on this client? And we'll talk more about this in another seminar. But not every client that comes to us as a potential client should we work with. And when you understand what your story is and what you're about, it will help you know better too, which clients you should work with and which ones you should maybe refer out, so that everybody wins. So again, just recapping, we talked about clearing space for yourself. We talked about coming into a place of acceptance. We talked about fully engaging in life. And we talked about investing in only those things which provide compensation to you. And we talked about writing your story. We're going to take some time now. Julie is here helping me, and we're going to take questions from some of our people. So if you have questions you want to ask, go ahead and put those out there, and Julie will help me monitor and get those questions asked. If you want to tell us your first name, that's great. And maybe what area of the country you're from. That helps us a little bit, just to kind of know who all is out there. Or if you're international, we do have some international participants as well. So one of the first questions is, when there is so much to do, is hiring an assistant the best solution? Well, I will tell you that the greatest success that I've had is when I've had a really top-notch assistant. And I will also tell you that I ran my consulting business for almost 9 years before I hired an assistant. And I'm not saying that was the right thing to do, but at the time where I was in my life, I wanted to keep my practice pretty small because I wanted to spend most time with my children. But as I started to hire additional people within my organization, I found out that there were a lot of competencies that I needed that I didn't have that an assistant could provide. You know, technology continues to change, and so hiring a good assistant that understands technology better than I do was really a smart thing. What I would say too is that hiring a good assistant is probably the first hire you should make. But make sure when you're hiring an assistant that you hire someone who knows a lot more than you do about those kind of administrative tasks. Because otherwise you'll just become frustrated because you'll be running your own desk, running your own client base, while at the same time you're trying to teach your assistant. It can just be kind of frustrating. So, and then also, as you're hiring anyone within your organization, make sure that your interests are mutually aligned, and make sure that your what you want out of life, what you want out of work, kind of mirrors. Because it's very often it's not the tasks that get in our way, it's the attitudes and how we kind of view work in general that sometimes can be hard. Okay, we have another question. Why do you and Roost Consulting do what you do? Well, I love what I do. I love working with some of the smartest people that I know. I would say that in the last 10 years, that all of the clients that I have worked with have taught me something. Even those clients where, you know, maybe it was, you know, we ultimately didn't agree, and even if we ultimately ended the relationship, I learned a ton from them. So I really enjoy, better said, I love working with people and helping them grow their business. So that's why we do what we do. And also, because here at Roost Consulting, we spend a lot of time in training seminars, and we're part of an alliance with other consultants. We also get to work with like-minded individuals, and we get to work with other professionals like ourselves who are out there every day doing similar to what we do. So, okay, we have Tim out of Minnesota asking, how do you stay passionate about your job on a daily basis? Tim, I have to tell you that I get up every morning completely energized. Now, and the thing that's interesting about it is, health-wise, I'm pretty healthy, but I do have what I would call chronic pain that probably perplexes me about 4 out of 5 days a week. But my husband and I were actually talking about this the other day, that I'm so energized and so excited to get up and work with my clients that within 5 minutes of my feet hitting the floor, I'm already so excited about what my day is going to look like that my pain really diminishes. Now, if I sit at my desk too long, I'm not saying it doesn't come back, but I love what I do because I love people. And I believe that any organization, any human being has the capacity and all the information they need between their head, their heart, and their hands to make a difference in their life and to move their lives, their businesses, the lives of their families forward. And so I get completely, fully energized about that. Okay, looks like we've hit a lull in our questions, and we still have about 5 to 7 minutes to go. So I'm going to tell you about what we're going to be talking about next week. We still have time for a few more questions, so I'll start towards the wrap up, but certainly if you have some questions, or if I didn't answer any of those questions to your satisfaction, please let us know. A couple of things: you can go to our website, to the Contact Us page, and contact us anytime with any questions that you have. We're here to serve, and we love to hear from small businesses and from individuals, and we love to know what's going on out there, and would love to be of assistance in any way we can. Next week, we're going to be focusing on how to formalize your story. We talked about writing your story. We're actually going to provide some paperwork for you that will help you in doing that, so that you're solid on who you are and what you do and why you do it, so that if you're at a crossroads or maybe you're stuck, you don't stay in that state of confusion and distraction. So we'll look forward to sharing that with you next week. And then if there's any specific topics that you need help with, or that you would like help on in this or a future series, please send us an email and let us know. We would love to learn from you and be interested in learning about how we can help you. And then also, if you're interested in receiving one-on-one consulting, please let us know that as well. We have several packages dependent upon your need that we can tailor and custom fit for you. One of the tools that we will be providing within the next 2 weeks is a survey that you can complete that touches on 28 different pulse points within your organization. And this is something that we are really excited about. I have been searching for about 3 years for a way for me to either synthesize from my own experience working with over 20 plus companies, or finding another organization who maybe has even greater experience than I do, to come up with a metric that one of our clients could fill out, and then it would help us know where you are, and then help devise a roadmap for moving forward. And I'm so excited to tell you that we have, through a series of negotiations over the last 60 days, found our strategic partner, and we are very excited to be working with him. And so through that strategic partnership, he has already done a lot of the back office work for us. So you will be able to take a survey and receive a comprehensive report. It's all done online. And within 48 hours of completing the survey, you will receive a comprehensive report that shows your current score in these 28 different key areas. And it also gives specific recommendations toward improvement according to best practices across a myriad of industries. So what I'm really excited about is it's not just an overarching 30,000-foot view of general businesses. It actually gives you metrics towards what your profitability should be, and kind of best practices within your specific industry. So really, really excited about it. We'll be sending out next week, right after our call, information on how you can receive this offer. Now, normally, this type of analysis would cost you about $1,500 to receive this comprehensive report. But through your alliance with us, you can receive for $9.99, which includes a 90-minute one-on-one consultation with me, where we help you create a 90-day and 6-month plan. Or if you simply want to take the survey and you don't need any help from us, you just want to take the survey and then create your own roadmap, your own business plan, which I'm sure many of you are perfectly capable of doing, then that is $6.99. So be watching for that. And if you have any other questions about it, please send us an email and let us know, and we'll look forward to to giving you more information about that as time goes by. So, okay, Julie, do we have any more questions? Julie's my able assistant. Thank you, Julie, for your help today. And with that, if we have no more questions, we'll sign off. And thanks again for spending the afternoon with us. And again, would just say we're really looking forward to helping you build something great. Life is in session, so all arise. Thank you and have a great afternoon.